We got some Michael Oher, we have some Donald Trump, and we're going to go to Anthony Anderson. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Have Heard, and we'll present for you in a few moments yesterday's latest in information dealing with politics, current events, pop culture, and the like. We, as your go-to source for supplemental news, give you both the mainstream stuff, that's the Trump stuff, and the not-so-mainstream stuff, which will be the Michael Oher stuff, and some fun stuff at the end. That's where Anthony Anderson comes in there. So stick with us for about 12 minutes. We'll get you the headlines, 8 total stories to you that you helped us pick for the morning. You deemed them as the most conversational stories of the morning. So we'll go them first, and we'll explain how that works out in a bit. Then, we'll do some promotional stuff, things like that. But the fun stuff comes at the end, so hang tight for that. Want to remind you that our website is conversationproject.com. More details on what we do 5 days a week, then an extra day for 6. And then on Sunday, we don't exactly rest, but we do stuff there. Find out more details about what we do there, here, for there. And here. Now, let's get into those news stories we promised you. 8 stories for the day. And today happens to be Tuesday, August the 15th, 2023. What do we do for this Tuesday, August 15th, 2023? We start off with this story here. And it is Trump indicted in Georgia election probe by Fulton County grand jury. Now, the big story of this is not so much about Georgia, but you'll get to literally in seconds. The big story is that Trump now has about 94 charges against him over 4 indictments, 3 of them federal. And of course, we dealt with the old thing with E. Jean Carroll, although that one may come back to haunt him again. Right now, what we're seeing is the former president is being charged in his attempt to overturn the 2020 election, specifically in Georgia. 13 charges there, which he denies because, perfect calls, just looks for votes. We won Georgia. We won it all, stuff like that. The Georgia prosecutor, Fonnie Wills, was expected to take about 2 days to present before a grand jury and then basically give indictment tomorrow, or today, I should say, or maybe tomorrow. And it turned out they went all hard all day Monday, and late into the evening put out the prosecution, put out the actual word of the indictment there. Donald Trump has until next Friday to turn this stuff into Georgia. Next Wednesday is the first Republican debate. He probably wasn't going to show up to that anyway. Now, rumor has it that he's going to decide to turn himself in around 7:30 p.m. Central Time in the middle of the debate and sort of steal the thunder from that going on. I don't think we're giving Trump any ideas he did have on his own. We'll see if his legal team plays that out that way. He's also 11 other people were indicted in this actual indictment as well. The big thing about this one is because it's a state trial and the state of Georgia allows cameras in courtrooms for high-profile cases, we'll probably get to see Donald Trump, 1, arrive for booking, and 2, in court. Nancy Grace may bring her light world back together, yelling at the TV screens monitored at Donald Trump and his what's going on. The most disturbing story we have has this warning and this headline. Raisen Franco facing disturbing allegations involving a minor. We're not going to go deep into the story, but we posted the link here, and by leaps and bounds, by sheer numbers, this one is way over the top as a top story for the morning. This story is probably going to overtake everything and not come anything close to being a top story for the week. What we have are some disturbing social media posts with Franco seen with a 14-year-old minor in the pictures. If you want to go deeper into the story, click the link we have in our description or look for the story. It's out there. Trust me, it is out there, and you guys jumped on this one pretty quickly and pretty heavy as it came on. We're going to stick with sports and stick with some troubling news, or disappointing in this case. Blindside subject Michael Oher says he was never adopted by Tuohy family, asks court to end conservatorship. This is a very complicated story that I'm going to kind of boil down into its details in about 45 seconds. Michael Oher, of course, the star football player in the NFL and at Ole Miss, is a big-time story because of Sean and Lee Tuohy, Leanne Tuohy, the family that adopted Oher and turned into the story that was, of course, The Blind Side. While touching and big and all the great stuff that happened for the stars of that, including Sandra Bullock and that country guy, the problem with the story is that apparently it's not exactly true, and not only is it exactly true, it's just sort of weird how it took this long to get to this. Now, it may be because conservatorships are in the news, maybe because Michael Oher wants some attention. It could be a bunch of different things. But right now, what we're hearing from Oher is that he wasn't adopted, which no one really thought he was adopted. But he wasn't actually adopted by the family. He was, adopted as just, hanging out there. it wasn't he wasn't legally adopted, but he was convinced to sign some papers to kind of make him in a conservatorship, just like Britney Spears, and that conservatorship is actually still existing apparently, and he wants out of it. A whole lot of people got famous and got attention from The Blind Side, the movie, and the story that inspired it all. But as we find in a lot of made for TV or made for the not based on true story things, the true story part doesn't quite sit up to a entertaining story. There's some true story behind the entertainment found in the news lineup at CNN. Big overhaul happening for my favorite news network. I will say it right there. Abby, Phillip, and Laura Coates get nighttime shows. Phil Manley and Kasie Hunt will host in the mornings. What's going to happen, and we're going to go kind of line by line here. So what's happening is Allison Camerata is going to lose the nighttime 2-hour gig she has coming up after the new show that's done with the correspondent. It's just going to happen, and there's some rumors innuendo in that one, but you have to kind of go deeper into that one. So Abby Phillip will take the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock spot, and Laura Coates will take the 11 o'clock spot. Each get an hour. Laura Coates will still do her radio show in the mornings for Sirius XM. Phil Manley is now officially a part of the early start headline. He's been co-hosting with Poppy Carlo on and off for a while, basically calling an audition, and now he's officially the morning guy there. The early morning gal is Kasie Hunt, who used to do early mornings on Way Too Early on MSNBC before she shifted over to CNN. Big things were going to happen for her. Then COVID happened, and then she had a brain surgery, and then she had a baby. A whole lot of things happening to Kasie Hunt. What's happening to her now, or for her, is she gets to be an early start for the CNN, like Todd did it as well. Weekend lineup adds Victor Blackwell doing an hour show that's dealing on black issues. Also, Chris Wallace and Christine Amanpour doing an hour show. Chris Wallace doing more or less another panel show, and Christine Amanpour doing focus on some foreign things. And Manu Raju, the man with the great hair, the great voice, great resume on Capitol Hill, he's going to take over the Sunday version of Inside Politics. It all happens. Caitlin Collins, the name that was coming out of my brain. Caitlin Collins with her new show is sticking around. Abby Phillips will follow, and Laura Coates will follow after that. King Barkley still going to come. Who knows when? Who knows where? Actually, we know where. Wednesday nights, but eventually, King Barkley is going to come. More people accused Lizzo of inappropriate sexual behavior. Script went kind of weird there. That's why we had that interjection. I want to try to make it sort of dramatic since I couldn't read the script. It didn't load well. But you get the point. Lizzo, the fun-loving, extremely fluffy, fun gal, is now dealing with more people saying she's not so fun as a gal these days. More allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior. We don't even go into the story, just to kind of go through, list it in the link on your own. 6 more people at this point have come forward saying that the diva has been a bit extra diva-ish because of her interactions, what people don't see in front of the cameras and in her Instagram photos. She's actually lost about 340,000 followers on her Instagram because of the controversy. No controversy here. It's gone. It's done. It's over. Cortana gets killed. The latest Windows 11 update will kill the Cortana, the voice assistant that was supposedly the rival to Alexa and Hey Google, who doesn't actually have a name, is being killed in the latest update for Windows 11 and your PC. Now, she gets to go to hell with Clippy and live together in their purgatory. That is the Windows dungeons. But we do not weep for Cortana. She gave us great, she actually gave us absolutely nothing. Oh, thank you. There's Google jumping in there. So she gave us nothing, absolutely nothing, pretty much nothing. And now she's gone. Next up, maybe Bing. In California, a California Nordstrom's was ransacked in a huge flash mob smash and grab for $60,000 to $100,000 in stolen goods. We pulled this from Fox News, so they have their own views on it, and they have pictures of the video. About 30 people, 5 of them wearing sweatsuits and hoods, kind of organized a big old flash mob, went into this store, a Yves Saint Laurent store. in Glendale, California, was hit as well for $30,000 by about 3 or 4 people. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, and basically all sorts of people dealing with the law enforcement there, know and understand that the burglary stuff is essentially issue number one. Homelessness is a bad thing. Jobs are bad. But the fact that so many places are unsafe because people just literally walk in and steal stuff and just wander out, and you can't stop them. In fact, the stores tell the employees, you stop them and you'll be fired, becomes an issue. It's check out the video. Check out what's going on. Watch what's happening. We're not endorsing flash mobs to steal stuff, but this is a greater issue that's hard to understand unless you actually kind of are living in it and seeing that the aftermath in the neighborhood, and hard to fathom how to stop. Because if I knew how to stop it, I'd be mayor of Los Angeles. I'm not mayor of Los Angeles. I have no idea what to do here. We wrap the day up with this story being the Niger Coup leaders, and they want to prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason. That's what you do when you basically depose somebody. You pull them out of power. You put them on trial, and they want to do this. The junta that is in charge of Niger right now has a lot of big things happening. Number one, they're preparing for some sort of invasion. Not that that's a secret, but eventually somebody's got to come in and do something about this. And pretty much everybody's kind of gearing up for that to happen. They don't think there's going to be any sort of peaceful stepping down of the junta. Number two, since they have the President Bazoum in captivity anyway, why not, charge them on high treason and undermining the state security, and, give them a trial and do what you do at those things. This may not be, well, so far it has not been much of a bloody coup, but who knows what's going on in these situations. Now, granted, let's not go to the whole Donald Trump, whole nation type thing and deal with this. This type of action is actually fairly common in many states that don't deal with more or less the rule of law and the un-European-ish countries. Although you saw Russia roll into Ukraine, so you see how they just kind of do their own thing as well. Let's not forget there are people involved here. There are civilians, there are children, there are folks going on in the on both sides thing that in the turmoil that's there. Niger not treated very well as a colony of France, frankly not being treated well by us in a sense, just basically using them for resources and not knowing what to do from letting things like this happen. We're going to see how this thing plays out, because unfortunately there's way too much money, I said way too much money involved in Niger to let this thing just sort of go poof and disappear. In our notes for apologies, errors, and omissions, one quick hit right here. Clarence Avant, the godfather of black entertainment, dies at the age of 92. This story posted, I think it was actually put out late Sunday, and we got it into the list yesterday. So want to take some time to put that out there. It's all sort of insanity happening in the show today, so we can't spend a lot of time on that. Click the link that is in the description. Search for Clarence Avant. You'll understand a whole lot of black entertainment out there. I know they're doing a lot of celebration of that. And a whole lot of entertainment in general came through the mind, the hands, the work of Mr. Clarence Avant. So we appreciate you, Mr. Avant. He is now dead at the age of 92. This is the time where we do our teaser story for the day. And this is also time where we explain how the feeds work, how you engage in stories, and how you are giving us the love and the votes to talk about what we talk about every single day. You go to our Facebook feed, you go to our X feed, x.com or twitter.com/th_conversation, and facebook.com/this is the conversation project. And what you find at those places, technically 2, although Twitter and X goes back to Twitter, so we like to say 3 because, we think we're avant-garde and all that stuff. What you find in those places is every 50 minutes we post news stories from various different sources. Sometimes it's Fox, sometimes it's CNN, sometimes it's even Newsmax, because, we go wild sometimes. You don't have to like the source. You just want to engage in the story and the headline. And sometimes that's why we pull the stories and headlines from the weirdest places, because they give us the best headlines and the real tea, as they think, on things going on. You engage in the stories, the higher the story count gets, the higher the engagement count gets on a story, the better chance we have of talking about it tomorrow. 8 stories will be presented to you of the top 15 stories of the day, and we'll see how that works out. Will this one be one? The headline from USA Today, I already posted, so you may have to go back to find this one. Earth sees warmest July by a long shot. That is a quote in 174 years. So we keep seeing these, the hottest, the deepest, the wettest, the coldest, ever recorded. So ever recorded, it's about 174 years. So ever doesn't kind of, the dinosaurs roaming and those guys walking around with thermometers saying, hey, yo, it's kind of hot today. I was kind of curious about that. But in the recorded history of weather, about 174 years, this is the hottest July. I'm not sure when the second hottest July is, but you can check out the story and we can talk about climate change and being really, really hot and things like that. If you deem this one worthy of chat, you have to literally give us the idea we're going to talk about this. So you engage in it, you give a score high enough to see it in the top 15. And if it's there, we'll get to it. We're going to honor a sponsor today, and we really do honor this sponsor. This is the Chess Store. Go to this. It's theconversationproject.com/thechessstore. All of our sponsors are affiliate links, so you have to buy from them for us to get something back. We get a commission for you buying from them, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. And the Chess Store is a place you need to stop by. Now, if you've been out of chess for a while, and the thing that's stopping you may be that beautiful chess set, trust me, once you see a nice chess set, it's almost impossible not to touch it, not to move things around. The Chess Store can give you great sets that are beautiful, that are functional. And the plastic ones, the travel ones, the ones you want to move around and use on the go, not cheesy and cheap looking. They're great looking chess sets. Some of them are stories. Some of them have replicas of other sets, plus other accessories that you may want for chess. Chess has accessories. Oh boy, does chess have accessories. And you should check it out at the Chess Store. Go through this. It's theconversationproject.com/thechessstore. This is theconversationproject.com/thechessstore. Good news on the travails of JJ. We've not been able to go to the chess club lately, but she's taken, or the chess club at church, because of scheduling and the whole tornado thing. She is taking up the chess club going on in school, at her new school. So she is continuing her learning and knowledge and her whooping the butts of other players in chess. You can join that knowledge and whooping the butts on your own by getting your own chess set at the Conversation Project's sponsor site. Going to this is theconversationproject.com/thechessstore. We promote ourselves by telling you about us. We are the Conversation Project. We have a home online at this is theconversationproject.com, and we provide for you this thing here. This is things you might have heard that you hear me speaking of this. Whether you're watching me live at 6:10 in the morning on this Tuesday, or you're watching this as a replay whenever it is, thank you so much for being a part of the show. The things we need from you start off with the feeds I just explained about 2 minutes ago. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter/X and engage in the stories so we know what stories to talk about every single morning, Monday through Friday. We also know what to talk about every single weekend for the weekly wrap up, and that turns into the story of the week. Tell us what we're doing well and not so well so we can improve what's going on by going to your email machine, sending us an email at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Go to our sponsors page and visit some of our sponsors. There are many out there, and they want to take good care of you. We get a commission from you getting taken care of. And if you deem what we're doing pretty darn awesome and you think you want to help me do more of it, we would like to do that. We would like you to have that because I'd like more we's behind the scene, and that takes resources. Check out the partnerships page and see if there's a way that we can gather up together to join forces like Voltron and slay the dragon, slay the evil that is the bad news out there, because this was created out of the way of presenting more news, more diverse news, more interesting news, and getting more people involved in the news. And I think our mission is very, very, very noble, and I think we're doing a very good job of it. We can do better with some help. If you want to help, we will accept the help. Now, you've been great today. You've been awesome today. You have a thumbs up, A++ day. You have earned the fun stuff. Fun stuff for this August 15th starts with birthdays. Anthony Anderson, as already advertised, is 53 years old today. Doesn't have any active things, although he's a producer for the current season of Grownish. Doesn't have anything majorly active, I believe, going right now. But of course, we all remember him as the lovable basketball player, as being a 30-year-old hanging out with teenagers from Hang Time. At least I remember them, and various bad things going on, including me, myself, and Irene becoming a very big voice in the industry, and of course, Blackish, a groundbreaking show for the ages. Ben Affleck turning 51 years old on the day, spending a little time as Batman in The Flash, and then turning into George Clooney, and then turning into, turned into Michael Keaton first, and then George Clooney. So if that whole thing survives, that's going to be nuts at this point. Jennifer Lawrence, who is basically, as everybody believes, the most awesomest person on the planet. I may say other folks may be a bit more awesome than her, but that's my opinion. Jennifer Lawrence, who everybody seems to love, is 33 years old on the day. Ben Affleck, 51, if I didn't say that going forward. Doing this live, so sometimes the words go a little faster than my brain. Right now, we're going to read this nice and easy so you understand what's going on, because this is our history lesson for today. The 15th of August, today is 2023, starting going back returning back to 1969. The day Woodstock Music and Art Festival opened in upstate New York. For the next couple of days, all sorts of calamity and craziness would happen at Woodstock. And of course, anyone who was essentially 17 years old at the time went to Woodstock. At least they all say that. So about 20 million people were at Woodstock when it was only about 100,000 or so. But everybody who was alive at the time says they went to Woodstock. You may not remember this one, but you remember what happened from it. Today is the day that Bill Clinton confessed to Hillary about the Monica Lewinsky affair. Why he do it today? Because in a few days, he's going to go before a grand jury, go forward to do some investigating, and he's going to have to do the, definition of sex thing, and then I have relations with that woman and all that stuff. So that's about to happen. But on this day, the ball gets rolling as he is found out, as he's about to be investigated. So he had to pony up to the wife. We see how that one worked out. And check this one out. Back in 2007, police in Hanover, Germany were summoned to a house after neighbors were awakened by a loud noise. They found the 51-year-old resident of the home had become so frustrated with his computer that he threw it through his window. Officers asked the man to clean up the mess. He declined to press any charges. The police spokesman said of the incident, "Who the hell hadn't felt like doing that?" That was so poorly read, so I apologize. Back in 2007, the police in Hanover went to the house and the guy threw his computer out the window, and they said, "Clean it up." I should have just said that. Let's move on to our celebration for the day. August 15th is designated as National, them's the words, Relaxation Day. If you've been having a long sort of week that's been extended by essentially 2-3 weeks, everything just kind of comes together, then you need some time to relax. Unfortunately, that's not today. However, if you need some time to relax, take today to relax, even if it's a small period of time. Take some time after work for home, close the door, give the kids some sugar, let them run around outside, and sit in a little place and just sort of breathe in, breathe out, meditate with yourself. Grab yourself a cocktail if that's what you do. Grab yourself a couple cocktails if you don't have to go to work tomorrow, because we care about you. Find someone that you enjoy spending time with and spend some time with them. Find the people you don't enjoy spending time with and close the door and give them sugar and let them run around in the yard while you're in your room relaxing. Take some time soon to relax. If you can do it today, you can celebrate National Relaxation Day on its day. Or maybe you can delay it. It's like it's like comp time at work. You don't actually get off for Memorial Day, but comp time just sort of happens. Even though comp time technically is illegal, but that's a whole nother story, a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day. Finally, one more thing you might not have heard. Are you ready to have your cheeseburger bubble busted? You shouldn't add the cheese to your burger while it's still on the grill. No, really. There's plenty of heat once the burger comes off, and you don't need the cheese to melt so much it starts to run off, leaving a thinner layer and messing up the entire grill. Yeah, cleaning cheese is pretty crappy. From the internet, right before you pull the burger off the grill, put however much cheese you want on the inside surface of the top bun. Pull the burger patty off the grill, lay it onto the cheese. Then load up the bottom bun with veggies and condiments. Then put the top half burger down on the bottom half. The cheese, as it melts, adheres to the porous top of the bun. There will be uniform cheese thickness across the entire burger, so that every time you take a bite out of that delicious, juicy burger, there's delicious, creamy cheese every single time. And the burger doesn't slip apart like you do when you lift it for a bite. Now, this also brings in the controversy of putting your condiments on the bottom of the burger and not on the top, which some people see as blasphemy, but that also helps as well. it really helps that you guys show up for this thing to give us things to talk about and to listen to me gab for about 25 minutes every single morning. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This has been things you might have heard for this particular day, the Tuesday, the 15th of August in 2023. Thank you so much for joining us for today's show. Today's show and none of the shows happen without you, literally, because you have to tell us what to talk about. We have other projects within the More Better Media atmosphere, but we'll talk about those in other cases. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get out of here today, reminding you that you can stop by our website at thisisaconversationproject.com for more details about us and ways to contact to us, including the email address, theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. Life is a journey, and a long journey if you play it well. So don't play it wrong and end your journey sooner than you should. I'll be back tomorrow, a little less tired, we hope. Hopefully I won't get a full relaxation day, but I will get some time to kind of rest up. Long week happening, and we'll give you more great stuff. But we can't do it without you. So you get some rest, but make sure you stop by and check your Facebook and Twitter feeds while you're doing it so that we can have more great stuff to produce for a Wednesday edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.